This is going to sound like so much hate, and I swear it's not. Welcome back to the Warner Brothers podcast. I'm Kyle, joined as always by my brother Keenan, joined as always during football season by Timmy G, by Tim Gray, by Tim the shot put guy, I guess we could call him. And then also you'll see another special guest here, a fellow redhead. He goes by Jadams. We'll call him by his presidential name of John Adams. Do you want to keep going here, Jadams? Or I have a text to read from this.
Yeah, you can read the text. Yeah, let's see.
This will just give you some sort of idea of what we're working with Jadams here. He texted me.
Oh, no.
I think this was Vikings-Jags. That was a game this year, right? Did the Vikings play the Jaguars?
Yes, it was Sam
12
it was
to
Sam
7.
Darnold's like worst game of the year, other than his.
Yes, that would make sense because Jadams at 3:00 on the dot on this Sunday, he says, "If I'm the Vikings, I'm giving Sam Darnold the chance to save this game, or we as a team are executing him afterward." That's our average Sunday text. That might be mild on a scale because our texts go all over. But yes, Jadams.
You're a Vikings fan?
No, this was just money. This was just money.
It's always money.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
money.
I was just like, wait, that's so random. I had no idea.
No. Jadams is a fellow Pats
fan.
fan, actually, right? You're a Pats fan.
Yeah, only if they're winning, and I bet on them.
for sure.
Respect to it.
For sure.
But-
I don't know, man. I never developed like an attachment to any team, to be honest with you.
Happens.
I like to just watch good games, kind of like in almost every sport. I'm a big Bruins fan, but that's about it.
Happens. Well, welcome to the show, Jadams. We're glad to have you.
Thanks for having me.
This could either be the start of something great or we could get canceled. I'm ready for either. So let's just get to it. Keenan, I know you said you had something to address. You said you had something about rules.
So shout out to the Warner Brothers podcast TikTok that decided to blow up all day today.
Half RIP to TikTok, by the way.
Yeah, half
Not
RIP.
a full RIP, I guess.
I was gonna say it was like 10, 12 hours and people were like in flames and not knowing what to do with their life, as if they couldn't just go to Instagram and see pretty much everything they were seeing on TikTok. But anyways, so TikTok, back to it, and have a post. Timmy doesn't think that there should be automatic first downs on many, if not all, penalties. And at first it was just rolling like a regular video, and then it's blown up to almost 300 comments of people just going back and forth, arguing with people on there about what are you talking about. It started off as just hate, and then it was to a lot of people were like, actually, I agree with that. Like, no, that actually makes sense, because once you sit down and think about something, makes sense. The first time I heard it, Tim, I was like, it makes sense, but there's certain things that I would personally kind of change about it, because you didn't go like fully in depth, like exactly. You kind of just made a point, and I kind of went in depth. Before I go on my kind of in-depth rules that I think would be interesting to have not, does anyone have comments on it? Timmy, do you have comments on your own post itself and what happened?
I just want to say, if you're going to comment on the video, at least have an open mind. There's no point coming in here and dying on
No
a
such
hill
thing in
if you're not
2025.
if you're not going to move either way, you know. It was just a take. It came out off the dome. So it's really not anything to get up
Fresh
in
off
arms
the
about.
jet, sharper than Gillette. Man,
Exactly.
this guy comes up with
Yeah,
a
man.
take and we're good.
I loved the take because, again, it made you think and it made sense. It's practical, especially when you figure from the offensive side of the ball. If you get a holding, right, it's still 1st and 20, or you know what I mean? You get the yardage, but you keep the down. So why not that on the defense? Why are you only really losing downs on the defensive side of the ball when it comes to penalties? So
Yeah.
it made me think. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, why don't they do that? Why haven't they done that in the past? And maybe they did. Maybe it's something that was the case in the 70s that, changed as time went on. I have no idea. But if it's something that they've always done since the beginning of the NFL, it does make you wonder, because it does seem like the offense is at an advantage when it comes to that. So very interesting to me. Jab, you got anything?
Jadams, I was about to say, what do you think about automatic first downs before I go into kind of my in-depth rules?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've never thought about it, but like Kyle said, it's just always been there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But once you kind of makes sense, though.
True
Yeah.
that.
I don't know how that would work, but Yeah, it does make you think, doesn't it?
Oh, I'll tell you how it would work. I'll tell you exactly how it would work.
Let's hear it for the people.
But so here is what. So let me just pull this up right here. I wrote it all down. So I think that like pass interference is still to me I think it should still be a spot foul. Because, like, obviously, if you throw a 40-yard bomb down the field and I just tackle you 40 yards down the field, the likelihood of I'm tackling you because you're going to catch it and probably get more. So I still think that should be a spot foul fine. And then I think defensive holding, maybe this is kind of up in the air one that I thought of. A 5-yard penalty, but when not targeted, it's just 5 yards. When targeted, it's a first down. But I think that's also that would also kind of be tough too, because the point of a defensive holding is you're holding it's not pass interference to where you're completely disregarding like the entirety of like the play, but you're holding on to someone until they can't get open, and you're holding on to them because they're trying to get open. So I think when targeted, I would maybe have it a first down, but because like it always sucks when it's 3rd and 16 and on the opposite side of the play that doesn't even matter. There's a defensive holding call and that's an automatic first down.
True.
It didn't matter if he was being held or not. It happened, but it didn't really matter but it's still a penalty that should be called. So far, anything that anyone wants to say before I kind of go? I'm going to try to rattle.
Keep going.
Okay. So that was that. I think roughing the passer I think there should be 2 ways you do roughing the passer. I think there should be, if you want to protect the quarterback, whatever, I completely understand it. But I think roughing the passer should be a 10-yard penalty, not a 15-yard penalty. And then if you're going to go with like too much, then call it an unnecessary roughness, and that can be 15 and a first down.
Let me throw this at you. And this is, I kind of gave Tim this idea prior, talking about pass interference or defensive holding, but it definitely makes sense to me now that you bring up roughing the passer. Feel like you could almost, and this opens almost a Pandora's box, but you could almost do an NBA style where it's like flagrant 1, flagrant 2 when it comes to roughing the passer, or maybe one, you keep the down and it's a 5-yard penalty. You gain 5 yards. Let's say like the Brady one in that Chiefs Patriots game. That's a famous one. I saw the highlights the other day where he gets smacked on the helmet, right? 5 yards, you keep the down. And maybe if you get a true helmet to helmet, I'm fucking this quarterback up, maybe then it's a 15-yard first down penalty.
Yeah, you know? I think the iterations of that would make sense, and that's kind of what I said, just in a different way. But I like what you're saying there too. But I think roughing the passer for me should be 10 yards because it's basically a first down. Like you're just giving him first down yardage. Because again, if you like getting hit on the helmet on like a 3rd and 20, and the pass is already out, and then like you're just trying to hit him in the head, and then you hit him with a graze of the head to the helmet. They call that roughing the passer, but you're not really doing anything. So I don't think that should be an automatic first down on like those kind of plays. If the yardage gives you it, as Timmy was saying last episode, then yeah, sure. And so I completely understand that. And people were trying to make it seem like, okay, then you can just tee off on the quarterback. But I don't like if someone's clearly headhunting, that's just unnecessary roughness and kick them out. Like it's like you can like the thing about it is this isn't AI. Like these are refs, and so they can clearly see. Yeah, no, this guy's like just trying to take off Mahomes' head, so like just get him out of the game. Like there's no point for that.
I will say one thing about it, though I do in theory agree with Tim's original premise. Opening it up to like levels with football, it's scary, man, because I mean, in general, I think NFL refs are better than NBA refs, but they've gotten a lot wrong this postseason already. Like key spots I don't like. You know, we already talked about it with Mahomes and the Chiefs, like. So if you open it up to, okay, this is in theory a flagrant 1 or flagrant 2 or this or that, you know what I mean? It could almost make it worse. We even saw it with the review of the pass interference a few years ago. It was just too much. You know what I mean?
I think that roughing the passer shouldn't be challengeable, but should be you should be able to expedited review.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay. The way they do intentional grounding. New
New
York will buzz in and be like, oh, yeah, that's intentional grounding. And then they'll throw a penalty 2 minutes after the play ended.
So it doesn't take away too much of the flow of the game, but what it does is it makes the correct call.
Okay.
So, because obviously maybe the first Mahomes one where like the Texans kind of like where he got hit after the whistle, and I was a little bit like in real time it did look like he got hit, and then the replay was not. I'm fine. I'm okay with that one. I understand the situation kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, bang bang, it looked like it. But the second one where he just dropped, like and like the Texans defenders hit him in the head or hit themselves in the head pretty much and didn't really touch Mahomes, that shouldn't have been a penalty, and that easily could have been an expedited like, hey, no. And it's like, okay, we pick up the flag and we're good and we just move on. It's the same thing as like a sideline catch where you're just like, you quickly are like, okay, no, that's a catch. Let's not go through the challenge. Let's not go through any of that. Let's just quickly. I think you could do that with roughing the passer. I think they might do that over the offseason to try to make it easy. I have a couple more little things, and then does anyone have any comments before I go on?
Keep
just
going.
making sure.
Keep going.
Okay. And then, so I think, and most of the time this was going to result in a first down, but I think illegal contact, hands to the face, and face mask penalties should be 15-yard penalties, but not automatic first downs. And the reason being is all of those to me are in the realm of I'm still playing a game. Like I'm going for a tackle and I face mask you. I understand that. And that should be a penalty because they literally could hurt somebody in that way, shape, or form. But it's not, I'm trying to make a football play and I make a mistake rather than I'm actively like a personal foul, which is just like something that you're being garbage. You're trying to do something too much. You're not playing within the rules. That should be 15 yards and automatic first down. But I don't think, most 95% of the time. So if you didn't change it to an automatic first down, it's not going to really matter all that much. But just like, if I go to tackle you and instead of hitting your shoulder pad, I accidentally get your face mask, and then if it's 15 yards and it doesn't get a first down, I think I could change. But again, that one's not really one that's like I'm on like I need to argue for it. It was just something I thought of.
Okay.
Then I have one more after that.
I got two things on that. I think when somebody, Derrick Henry is very bad at this. When he stiff arms, he'll grab face mask. That should be something too, because he could rip someone's head off.
I think
I've seen it before.
It's legal as a ball carrier, which is weird.
It is legal. You could grab the face mask and totally twist his head around, and that's completely legal. But as soon as the defense does it, it's not. And then another thing, if you tackle somebody by the hair, we saw it this weekend with James Cook got pulled down by his hair almost. That should be a horse collar because it's the same exact thing. You're jerking them back just like you would in a horse collar tackle.
Body part, though, technically.
True. But
I'm okay with that one. I'm okay with that.
If the horse collar penalty is there to prevent injury, then that's the same exact thing, in my opinion.
True. You could break someone's neck fucking around and grabbing a fistful of dreads or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're more apt to probably hurt them by grabbing their hair, honestly, because the neck's really going back. But, okay, so, and then personal fouls, as I said, 15 and a first down. Like, that's unnecessary. And these aren't even like huge changes across the board. They're just certain things that like you could alter to kind of make it. And the last but not least, the one that I was saying, offensive holding should be 5 yards, not 10. It just happens. It's such a common play.
I disagree.
I think it's such like you could call it on every play. Like that's the kind of thing. I
think that's why it should be though. I think the defense gets penalized for so much so often. There's so many 5-yard penalties when it comes to the offense. I think like an illegal shift, that's 5 yards, right?
Yeah.
Illegal man in motion, legal man downfield. So I think if you are going to be penalized for anything, it does have to be a hold. So I'm not mad at the 10 yards on an offensive holding. So
now you're saying it, I think it makes sense that it's 10 with this, but I think since I'm changing different things that I would not be mine with it being 5. Because I'm taking roughing the passer down a little bit, I'm taking other things and kind of like.
Well, let me ask you this: is it 10 yards?
So like within the
is it 10 yards at college and is it 10 yards at high school?
I think so.
Because if that's the case, I say keep it. If it's like a universal,
I think it is. But I mean, pass interference in college is 15. It's just 15 yards.
Yeah.
And then
which
like,
I'm okay with certain like pass interference. There's certain rules I'm okay with. Like, but if holding, because holding standard, like you said, that happens every play. If that's been across the board 10 yards, I'm okay with that. And again, especially in the NFL, the defense is already at such a disadvantage with most of these things, which is, kind of similar to why Tim brought up these rules anyway with the non-loss of down. I would
5
always
yards
be
and
okay
loss
with
it down.
That's different. Now, if you're losing a down in 5 yards, then I'm okay with it. But
I think
I'd
actually
still
5
almost say
yards and
10,
lost it.
really.
True. I mean, I would go either 10, keep it 10 or 5 and loss it down, because I think that the loss it down would hurt a lot. Because like if you had a 3rd and 7 and then you take it to 4th and 12, like you held on that play, like you stopped him from sacking the quarterback, you don't deserve the play back, kind of thing. Or like, you stopped him from like you. That was the whole. That was all the rules. Like that was everything that I wrote down. That was a lot of different things. Obviously, I mean, if we wanted to go in depth to like the secondary level, like that's mostly like your regular. We're gonna see those every given Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever game the day's played. And so those are the ones that I had and I wrote down. But I really like the idea because I like those are things that I don't really like. I didn't spark anything, but once Timmy said it, I was like, oh, I sparked something. So thank you for saying that, because it was actually like it made me think about like different things. But, yeah.
I would say this overall when it comes to the NFL at large, because there's always a lot of complaints about the officiating, but I really do think by and large, I can't speak to hockey, Adams. You'd be able to speak to this better. I know like baseball, obviously, like there's people that complain about, the home plate umpire, certain home plate umpires. The NBA is just inept. Like they have no control over anything. They're scared of the players. They ref it like it's the 90s. Like they got to be safe or something. Like these players are actually violent. No one wants to fight in the NBA. You rarely have incidents in the NBA. Look at me. I'm fucking complaining about the NBA in the middle of an NFL conversation. That's how you.
I think that's a tech, Kyle.
Yeah, right.
Sorry,
yeah, exactly.
One more of those in your head.
Where's Duke with this? We need the timeout and the tech for Duke, right?
Oh my golly.
But
we need more than that for him. We need to just cut him off the pod.
But in saying that, to make no, shouts to Duke. In saying that, like there's complaints sports wide, whether it's the NBA, NHL, MLB. It's an actual problem in the NBA. Whereas the NFL, I think, and I've said this before, I think 85 to 90% of the time the NFL gets it right. And I think they have control of the game most of the time. But me and Tim talked about it Monday. Mahomes certainly seems to get calls. The Chiefs certainly seem to get calls. And there's stuff that they absolutely miss, and it's atrocious. Like that intentional grounding in the Texans game, wild card weekend against the Chargers. But like that's where I would like to see review of the calls like they do in the NBA. Where it gives me caution is, like me and Keenan have mentioned, the NBA takes them 5 minutes to review this type of thing. And that's why they took the pass interference review away 2 or 3 years ago. So that's the only real change I would like to see them make. If they ever did hear Tim and listen to him, that would be cool because it would give some sort of even ground to the defense. But aside from that, if they were really going to make any sweeping changes, it would be review of certain calls, of judgment calls. I don't know how they'd legislate that or if there would be a challenge for that, whatever it is, but that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
We need more refs. If they just added 2 or 3 more refs so that we have 2 refs looking at the same play, one of them calls it, one of them doesn't, we don't have a good answer on it, so then we can't call the penalty, Mm-hmm. Because what the problem is, like, when a pass interference penalty occurs, there's typically only one ref looking at it because every other ref is assigned to a different part of the field looking at different things. So when it's a judgment call based on one ref, it doesn't really work. But if we could get a review process or something like that, where they can actually have a discussion and not just go over there and say, hey, what are you calling? Like, then we'd maybe get somewhere with it.
Yeah. Yeah, Adams, actually, I'm interested. How is hockey refs? Like, how are things officiated in hockey? How good is it?
I mean, compared to other sports, I feel like it's pretty good. A lot of the calls are, I don't want to say obvious, but I feel like it's easier to see. Everyone's watching the puck, you know what I mean? Like all the refs. And they'll be assigned to different parts of the ice, but nothing like the NFL. I mean, last night, I forget who I was watching, but there was a call and the crowd lost their mind and the coach challenged it and it was overturned. But I don't think I've really even seen that happen much at all this year.
So you can challenge calls in hockey in the NHL.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know like as in depth about the rules and stuff, but you can challenge them.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
no idea. So
It
maybe
is-
know more than me.
I'm not.
I think it works. I think it works the same way as like you lose a timeout. But don't
Yeah.
quote me on that. I don't even know because I've never even seen that, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Like they'll overturn like goals and stuff. Like they'll replay it and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Similar to VAR in soccer. So let me ask you guys this. Me and Tim, we held it down Monday. We obviously talked about the divisional round games. Jadams, we'll start with you. What game was a highlight to you? Like, what was your favorite game of the weekend? And go from there. And if you saw all the games, tell me your thoughts on those games too. But kick us off with whatever one caught your eye the most this past weekend.
well, I can definitely tell you which game pissed me off the most. Honestly, the Eagles game in the snow. I love watching snow games. Like that's just super exciting for me.
Love me a snow game.
Yeah, my wife's an Eagles fan, so it was good to watch that game. That was fun.
For sure.
Absolutely.
What?
Wait,
So
what
aside
game
from the
upset you
snow,
most?
what else caught your eye about it?
Saquon Barkley.
Hell yeah.
It's like unreal. And then there was like the clip of him like looking over to Jalen Hurts saying like, watch what I'm about to do. Like, watch this. That's crazy, man. Like you called it. And then last week, was it last week or the week before where he had one he could have taken it to the house and slid?
It was last week. It was the last run of the game. He was like,
unbelievable, dude.
no, that was actually one of the biggest. I'll stick here. That was one of the biggest takeaways of me for the weekend. Was like, I walked out of it and was like, was he really the MVP of the season this year? This Eagles team, Jalen Hurts is up and down this year, and like it's not like he's been playing pretty consistent. It's just he's like been unhealthy. I think that's going to be a factor coming into Sunday. He's
perked up Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I was
Tim, did you see that clip? Did you end up seeing that clip?
Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen him smile very much, honestly, ever.
Almost drops an F-bomb like first word of his sentence.
Talking about turning the snow up to 100 on his old NFL game or whatever. I'm like, do you even know what game it was?
No, this guy, like, Jalen Hurts was just not with it. AJ Brown was still reading books on the sideline, and Saquon Barkley essentially said, "Guys, I got us. Like, I got it. I'm gonna break the game open. I'm going to get us ahead. I'm going to get us a lead. And then Eagles defense, please don't ruin it. Like, that's all I'm asking." And so Saquon Barkley was the second best player of the weekend, and he was one of the biggest bright spots, obviously, the entire year. And he's just every week, it's probably killing Timmy more and more, thinking like, why couldn't we just get him a couple offensive linemen and give him money?
I'm okay with it. I've made peace with it. Okay. I love watching him succeed at a non-inept team, front office.
Yep, I get it.
That's fair.
I get it. Okay, that was
very nice of you.
So that was that. And the other thing, and listening to obviously you guys pod on. I'm listening to you guys pod on
Monday.
You pod Monday. You got out on Tuesday. I felt like you guys were not. I mean, I loved Lamar's second half. I also think that he put them in the hole, and I think you guys were giving him less deserved blame. Like, he deserved more blame than you guys were giving him. I don't think he was like oh my gosh, he can't compete in the playoffs, or he can't do anything anymore, or can't do anything like that in the slightest. No. I absolutely think that Lamar Jackson in the second half of that game showcased why he is an MVP, a perennial MVP candidate, and that last drive, super impressive. As I said, we're going to see what he's made of. He did it. Obviously, Mark Andrews, you're right, Timmy. It wasn't just the fumble. It wasn't just the miscatch. It was also the drop that led to the fumble there. But on that fumble play, too, that Lamar should have sat on earlier this season against the Bengals, he did that exact same thing and made it into a crazy play. That is what you got to take with Lamar. He's got to be better and just not drop the ball. Well, it's the same thing with Steph. When Steph is dancing between five players, I said six, even his teammates, but like five players, and throwing up threes from 30 feet. Sometimes he's going to do that, and it may not work out in the best moment, but you got to live with it because that's who he is. So I wasn't mad at the Lamar fumble. I just thought that it was a bad play, and he didn't play a good first half. And I think that when you put yourself 11 points down in a game where you could have been at least 4 points, if not 7 points up, then you deserve a little bit more blame than you were giving him. But it's not like it's only him.
Counterpoint.
So I'm not trying to
counterpoint to what you said.
Did you guys see this? Eagles sell dirty snow from playoff game versus Rams to fans for $50, and it sells out. And it sells out in hours.
Just handing them water.
Dude, frozen water. I
swear this was snow.
Frozen water with dirt in it.
I hope it was dirt. You never know with Philly fans, bro.
That is crazy.
You remember when they beat us in the Super Bowl? They had that one fan who ate horse shit.
It can't be doing that.
You can't even, like, Philly. I've said this many times. I've said it 100 times. I'll say it again. Philly fans are a special type of mentally ill, and I mean that with all due respect. And to the fan that ate horse shit, though, I mean that with disrespect. So to the majority, it's with respect. To the fan who ate horse shit and whatever else y'all be doing with disrespect. Back to Keenan, though. Look, the pick was horrible. There seemed to be some miscommunication, but the defense did their job and stopped them. The other turnover, yes, that led to 7. If I could bail Lamar a little bail here, though, we saw it in the first game, and we certainly saw it in the second game. Shit happens in snow games. And whether it's snow, whether it's rain, your hands are going to be slippery. We don't usually see Lamar lose a ball like that. It was also off a fumbled snap. Yeah, they were in a hole. I think also, I don't know if it was the second turnover or what it was that led to the defensive pass interference that should not have been called. That was in the first half, which also led to points there. So I really can't blame Lamar too much because the defense and the team, by and large, did exactly what you're supposed to do when you're down 11, and that's bring yourself back, make stops, get 3 and outs.
They played very well down the stretch, and if you win it, you give them massive credit for that, and I understand that, and I give him credit for that, but you didn't obviously win the game 1 and 2. And I understand that Josh Allen, and especially in the second half, was not asked to do a whole lot. For the game, he wasn't asked to do a whole lot. But the difference in the game was 3-0. That's simple.
And turnovers, no, for sure. And we mentioned
came from Lamar, and 2 of them were solely. I don't care about the miscommunication. The pass was bad, regardless of his fault. So you've got to take some blame.
And we said that. I think we said that closing that game out. We said, hey, at the end of the day, yes, Mark Andrews is going to be the focus, but 3 turnovers to 0. You're often going to lose that game. So I don't know. I think we gave Lamar proper, not slander, but we gave him proper, criticism, I believe. And we gave him proper praise because, listen, you could say they're not in that game or they're down 11 because of Lamar, but you can also say they got to the 2-point conversion also because of Lamar. I mean, Lamar did exactly what he was supposed to do in that game.
That is, he showed me a lot in that second half, and I think that's a true sign of like greatness. I mean, obviously, and the defense did its job. It's the same thing. The instant thought I had in my head was the Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl, and they were down 28-3, and Brady threw the pick 6, trying to dive, looked ugly in that situation. He made terrible mistakes. The team looked bad. The defense played bad, and then they flipped a switch. And Tom played phenomenal for the rest of the game from the mid-third quarter to the end of the game, and then the defense pitched a shutout. So, like, it's on both of them, and if obviously for some reason if they just decide Julio Jones makes an amazing catch, they just run the ball 3 times, kick a field goal, and it doesn't get to overtime. You still have to look at Brady, even though he went GOAT mode in the second half for the most part. You look at him, you're like, you put us in that situation, that has to be on him. And not only on him, because obviously the defense didn't play well either, but like it's still on Brady. So like that's kind of where it came down to me too. But I agree. I'm not the person who just thinks Lamar can't do it and he's bad and blah blah blah. No, he's still he's still amazing, and he showed me a lot on that last drive because first pass was after that it was lights out.
I think there's such a deserving narrative, by the way, around Lamar, especially the way he performed last year against the Chiefs. I think there's a deserving narrative around him, but it gets to the point where like, okay, yeah, they were down 11. But we've seen that game or that first half out of Tom Brady before. We've seen that first half out of Peyton or Eli Manning or Aaron Rodgers. We've seen that from name a quarterback. You know what I mean? And we've seen that same comeback. So this isn't really responding to you, Keenan, as much. But like, I mentioned this to Tim, the amount of people who were talking about like, oh, he's NFL James Harden, he's NFL Joel Embiid. That just bothered me because we've seen 11 points ain't a crazy hole. It's a crazy hole when that team up 11's getting the ball at halftime, which the Bills were, and they stopped them. You know what I mean? So they did what they need to do, made it even ground. And again, we've seen that playoff game plenty of times. It's nothing crazy. So that's more at the people talking about Lamar being James Harden, Joel Embiid, because yes, that was the case, you know, coming out of the AFC Championship game last year.
I think that Rockets Harden makes sense for Lamar. Because
early on his career, yeah, but not now. James Harden ain't giving you James Harden on the Rockets is the same guy who with Kawhi and Ginobili out in a game 6 put up 10 points at halftime and they were down 30 out of the game. Like Lamar ain't that.
He did get completely blitzed by the Tennessee Titans, a team that just came in and he did nothing and he had the worst game of his year. And
we're talking about 23, 24-year-old Lamar, though. We ain't talking about James Harden. We're talking about big career.
He won an MVP that year.
Oh, I completely agree.
But unanimous MVP.
No argument. I'm just saying, like, he's still a young QB. We see that out of young QBs. The thing with Lamar is that happened 2 or 3 times. But then I would say since then has had so success since then between last year's playoffs and this year's playoffs. But no, I get it's all valid arguments. I just think people now we're at the point, and it was going to happen no matter what. If Josh Allen lost that game, it was going to be ridiculous arguments and takes coming out of that game too, where it wouldn't have been fair. So
I just said Rockets Harden because like he had his moments, but I also we don't remember him, but he did have moments where he was actually he was very good. It just didn't feel like anything because I always felt like in the biggest moment he wasn't. But like, no, I'm saying like, but like it was hard because like he did have big playoff games, but they would be more like a game 4 down 2-1 kind of thing.
James Harden shows up when there's no pressure on him. When there's no pressure on him, James Harden shows up.
Yeah, so like that's kind of the thing. But anyways, let's get into these picks. I'm really interested to see where everybody is.
Hold up. You guys have no thoughts on the Lions and Commanders? I want to hear you guys.
I mean, we already hashed.
I ain't heard your thoughts, and I ain't heard Jadam's thoughts on Lions Commanders.
I'll let Jadams give his thoughts on everything, and my thoughts will probably come out as I'm giving these picks, to be quite honest with you. But Jadams, you talk about everything. Any other games you have thoughts on?
Lions Commanders was the one that pissed you off the most, right? Is that the one you're referring to?
It was just really unfortunate, you know what I mean? That the whole game took place at all. Dude, honestly, I like the Lions. I like the grit. I think Dan Campbell's vision of just being gritty maybe cost them towards the end of the season a little bit too much. Speaking to that one game where they really didn't need to play anybody, you know, I'm sure one game probably didn't have a huge impact on everybody, but I don't know, kind of made me think, you know, when they lost, but realistically they should have won that game. Did not expect that coming. I definitely expected a closer game, and it's too bad, you know. But hats off to the Commanders and Jalen Daniels, dude. That guy's a beast.
The guy's amazing, and the thing about the Lions is, we said it early, is Ben Johnson just got a little too cute early on. I felt like he was giving up trick plays, and the Jameson, that I'm going to have the most sporadic guy maybe in the NFL throw a ball and him make the proper decision. Yeah, I don't know about that. I texted Austin. I was talking with him, and the second it happened, I was like, shout out to Jahmyr Gibbs, because Gibbs ran over to him after Jameson Williams got the touchdown. The second he saw the pump, he was like, get him up. Let's not get 15 extra yards, guy. Like, we understand you're fast and you're fun, but do that at home. Like not right here, not right now. And then Amon-Ra came over to, they're like, God, everyone shield this man from getting a 15-yard penalty. That's the last thing we need.
The Key and Peele 15-yard penalty pump rule.
Yeah, well,
that's exactly what it was.
It was. And Timmy, you're right. You mentioned this at the end when you guys were talking, because obviously you were more focused on bad Lions and great Commanders than you focused on it at the end. Jahmyr Gibbs, I've been wanting to be like, is he a top 5 back in the league? Like, is he top? And he's top 5. Like Christian McCaffrey, buddy, you've been injured. You can sit out to the side. To me, I'm putting McCaffrey until come back healthy. Let me see how you are after your injuries. You're obviously older, but with the 5 backs that are the most impactful this year, no order: Saquon, Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan, Josh Jacobs. Those are the 5 most impactful backs to me this year for their team and what they did. I think those are the 5 best in the league. McCaffrey, again, you're off to the side until I see you play football meaningful again. But for the other side of the Lions game, which, I mean, it really hurt me that because I had the Lions going to the Super Bowl all season, and then I had them winning the Super Bowl probably from about week 6 on. Once I figured out the Bengals were not going to win the Super Bowl, I had the Lions in my head winning the Super Bowl. Tough because I really like the Lions, and now you lose your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, your defensive line coach is now the DC in New England. So, like, even a guy who could probably have been promoted within house who still knows your system is gone too. So it's like it's going to be hard. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. This is going to be a real testament to how good of a coach Dan Campbell is and how good that team is. So
they should go get Robert Saleh. That'd be my call. Go get Robert Saleh for that defense.
That would be
OC. That's going to be some time anyway with, all the talent they got. That'll be a smoother transition. It'll be a transition nonetheless, but go get someone like Saleh for that defense because that'll be immediate impact. But there was talk about him possibly being the Jaguars head coach. And if that's true, Brandon Petty will be rolling over in his grave if that's the case. So
yeah. But the other side, the Commander side, I'll talk on with the picks. And then Eagles, Rams, it was not really, I mean, Saquon was the takeaway. Obviously, the weather, the Rams needed to execute early. They didn't execute early as much as they could have because obviously once the weather came down, it was really an Eagles show. But, I mean, they made great plays down. I mean, Cooper Kupp had a great catch. Puka had some great catches, especially on that last drive. That catch on the sideline was bananas. And then Texans-Chiefs, there's not really much to talk about. The Texans had to play. They reminded me of Notre Dame, Ohio State. The Notre Dame to beat Ohio State had to play a perfect game, and Ohio State had to play a B game. Had to play less than perfect. And in that game, to me, the Chiefs would have had to play a B game, which they did, especially offensively. And the Texans would have had to play a perfect game to win it, and they didn't play a perfect game. So, but that's pretty much the expedited weekend for me, John. I don't know if you have anything else you're thinking about at all, but
honestly, couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. So unless anyone has any other rebuts, comments, questions, concerns, let's get into these 2 games that we have here this weekend. One of the best weekends of the year, of course. I mean, first game we've got is Commanders heading to Philly, the division bout. Who would have thought at week 6 we would have had 2 NFC East teams battling it out to go to the Super Bowl? And if we did, who would have thought one of them was going to be the Commanders? Crazy. But
would have thought it was going to be Cowboys.
The Eagles are 6.5 point favorites in this game. Just to let everybody know, weather-wise, it's going to be about 30-ish degrees and partly cloudy, or about 30 to 40 degrees, partly cloudy, depending on the day. So it's going to be fine weather that both teams are highly accustomed to. John, we're going to start with you. Who wins and why? Commanders, Eagles. And give a score. Sorry, we need scores here.
His mic's
You
off.
didn't unmute yourself if you're talking.
Thank you.
No problem.
Man, I feel like there's nobody that the Commanders can't beat anymore. But I'm probably still going to have to go with the Eagles. I don't know. I feel like they're more predictable, I think, and obviously Saquon's just out of his mind right now. And I think Commanders maybe go in maybe a little too confident. I don't know.
Okay.
True story.
Oh, score-wise, shit. I think it's going to be like probably 30. No, I got to go with like a 30. Let's go with 30 to 21.
It's a good score.
30 to 21.
Not 5-0.
Okay, so they cover. Alrighty, Timmy, your thoughts on this game?
I really I think I'm rolling with the Commanders.
Ooh.
I'm taking it. I'm saying we're going to the Super Bowl. Our luck has not run out. We're gonna make it. In Jaden Daniels, we trust. I don't love what I've seen from Jalen Hurts.
WWJD.
Exactly. Hashtag.
Sorry, JDD.
I don't love what I've seen from the Eagles besides Saquon. Like, he is this team. I'm gonna pick a lower scoring game, so give it to me 22-16.
I haven't thought about WWJD bracelets in a long ass time. What would Jesus do? What would Jaden Daniels do?
What would Jaden do?
Did you just look at your wrist like you might just happen to have one on there?
Just implanted on me.
Oh, what would Jaden do?
Look what Jesus did. He put a WWJD on my wrist.
What the hell's going on?
Why did he put a Rolex there? But
A dab of ranch.
I'm gonna say this. I'm still pissed off the Ravens didn't win. Like once the Commanders won on Saturday, I was telling Tim this. I had it in my head that we were getting a DMV Super Bowl. Like it would have been super dope if we would have got Ravens Commanders, Lamar versus Jaden. I was mentally already there. I had it planned out. I was so confident that the Ravens were gonna win. Like I'm hurt. I badly want to see the Ravens beat this Chiefs team. Then the Bills, what do the Bills do? They go out in the second half and play like the Kansas City Chiefs. They played a boring ass game, which honestly, I cannot believe I'm saying this. I'm looking forward to Eagles and Commanders more than I am Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills. Like, I don't know why. Like I normally this would have been the game for me, especially with the 6:30 slot. Yeah, I'd be looking forward to the legacy game, of course, Chiefs Bills. But I really am looking forward to this NFC East battle much more. That being said, because the Ravens lost and I'm still pissed at them for that, the Commanders get punished too. I'm rolling with the Eagles as well. That's not really analytical at all. The Eagles are probably the better team, and it's going to be tough probably for them to get the Commanders out of their third matchup. Keenan, real quick, me and Tim were talking about this. I remember obviously the second crazy game, Kenny Pickett, Commanders want to call them the Redskins. Commanders won by 3. What was the first game? Me and Tim were thinking like it was like a 10, 11 point game.
Oh,
this must have been like week 7, week 8, some shit.
It was a prime time game. I'm pretty sure it was
a prime time game, and the Saquon kind of ran nuts on them in the first game. Not that that's really saying a whole lot.
27-14 or something like that. I don't know.
Yes. Hold on just a second. I'll give it to you. It was 36-33 for the second one, and the first one, I'm not seeing it. 26-18. There you go.
Okay.
26-18. Saquon ran for 146 and 2 touchdowns. They really couldn't stop him. Jaden played an okay game, and this was Jaden coming off of the ribs.
Okay.
So Jaden he'd gotten injured, so he wasn't the same guy at the moment. Like, he was still playing, of course, but like his ribs were still bothering him at this point, so he wasn't as mobile in this game. He only ended with 18 yards rushing on 7 attempts. This was a big Austin Eckler game.
Let me say this before I give you my score. Let me say this. I think I forget if I mentioned this the last time the three of us got together, or if I mentioned this to Tim on Monday. But I would have said, had this been Lions Eagles, and Lions at home in the Dome, I would have said Lions take the ball first off the coin toss and make the Eagles play catch up. That being said, I feel the exact same way about the Commanders. Commanders have a similar offense. They're very aggressive on the fourth down, as we see, and there's no reason to think they will, go away from that. So if I'm the Commanders, I want the ball first, and I want to shut that Eagles crowd up. I want to get them nervous. And I want the Eagles playing catch up. I want to make Jalen Perks, not Jalen Hurts. Now he's Jalen Perks. I want Jalen Perks throwing the ball. I want him to get on his Tom Brady, on his Joe Flacco, on his Jared Goff, on his Peyton Manning, on his Nick Foles. I want him on his Donovan McNabb. I want Jalen Hurts in that position. I want him playing down 7, down 10 the entire game. If I'm the Commanders, I'm going to roll with the Eagles. I'm going to roll with Philly. Would be crazy though if we get Commanders Bills out of this, and it's like a matchup of former '90s Super Bowl. That's one of the Bills' 4 losses was to the Commanders, or the Skins if you're if you're from an older generation. Hail to the Skins, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Philly. Let's say 2017.
The MTV show Skins.
I'm actually a
Yeah.
Washington football team fan.
That's right. Yeah, they need to bring football team back. I wouldn't be mad if the Patriots changed their name to the football team.
A couple things. One, Austin brought up a funny point to me. If the Eagles beat the Bills have lost to every team in the NFC East, which would be kind of funny. Which would be kind of funny. And 2, I just wanted to say, the last time the Commanders were in the Super Bowl, obviously they won it against the Bills.
Mhm.
The Bills had to beat the Chiefs to get there, and the Commanders did have to beat the Lions. So I'm just saying, like, history does repeat itself. Maybe 33 years later, we got the same thing. I've actually got the Commanders in this game 30-25. I think it comes down to Jalen Hurts is not 100%. I think without his running ability, you're going to make him just be a pocket guy. I would sell out on the run. The thing that worries me is Saquon. Like, the Commanders don't have a great rush defense. They have they have a really good pass, or pretty good. I don't want to say really, really good, but numbers wise, they have a top 10 pass defense, but they're not really great against the run, which obviously bodes well for Philadelphia. But I said before the Lions game, if he beats the Lions, he's a top 5 quarterback in this game. You put him at 5. And he beat the Lions. I'm a man of my word. This guy is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. This guy is on a heater. We have seen many teams go on playoff runs before like this. You take into the end of the season and you roll in. They've been on a consistent momentum building kind of run since their last loss. I think their last loss, let me see correctly, their last loss came to the Cowboys in November. They lost to the Eagles and the Cowboys, and they beat the Titans. They blew out the Titans. They had that close game with the Saints. They had the last-second drive against the Eagles. They had the last-second drive against the Falcons, obviously, with that last-second drive against the Cowboys, last second against the Buccaneers. Like, there's no situation that this Commanders team's going to see where I have faith that they're not prepared for it. That's really what it comes down to. And because I think Jaden's just... he's as calm and cool as they come. Like, he's just already like, it's just another game to me. And I believe him. It's just another game to him. Like, and that's how he treats it. And that's great because it's not like added pressure. He understands what's at stake, but it's like,
Tim, you getting play calls from the sidelines there, Tim?
Sorry, I gotta cover my mouth when I call these in.
He's giving the nod to the sideline. Like, oh shit, Tim's coming with something here in the next 5 minutes. He's gonna hit us with like a Hail Mary or some shit.
Commanders 30-25. I think it's going to be a fun game, but I really think it's going to come down to Dan Quinn being a good defensive mind, and he's going to make Jalen Hurts beat them, and I don't know he can right now. I need to see his first run. I'll feel probably either more confident, less confident in this pick once I see his first run because he looked real gimpy towards the end of that game, and he really couldn't take off. And if he can't scramble the way he was, if that 44-yard run touchdown is not in his arsenal, it's going to be tough.
My thing is that might not even matter given how Gibbs was at one point, 9 for 96, and you got Saquon coming in. Might not even matter.
And it might not matter, but the Commanders scored pretty much every time they touched the ball.
But
obviously that's a different defense.
Lions defense is much different from the Eagles defense.
Oh, it's a different defense, absolutely, and I'm not trying to make it sound like it's not, but Are Eagles fans concerned if they get the ball? I mean, if they're down 7-0,
they
are Eagles fans worried?
That's why I'm saying Commanders got to take that ball early and put the pressure on them.
And if they don't, like, you're right, I agree, because if they can play a fast-paced game, but even so, like, if they're able to play with them, get the ball, like, and they get the ball, like they say they defer, but they do the great Patriot thing, score at half and then score right after the half. Like, I mean, like, there's so many situations. If they put pressure, if they're up in the third quarter on this roster, it'll be interesting to see how the Eagles respond. And hopefully they don't do the Ravens cool thing where they just like to abandon the run. I don't think they will because Saquon, but Hopefully they don't do their cool thing. But Commanders 30-25.
Jams, what's in the cup, bro?
Just water.
That's boring.
Just that
Some
H2O.
high quality H2O.
Hell yeah. Brita filter.
Timmy,
Shouts
were
to
you
the Brita
saying
filter.
something?
Yes, on Monday, Kyle made a bold claim that maybe, not wishing this upon anybody, but maybe somebody gets injured. Maybe somebody impactful gets injured. And I'm just saying,
I'm sorry I put that in
if
there.
if either Jalen
Hey,
Hurts
Phil Collins, what are we doing?
or Saquon was not to play this full game, I don't think this bodes well for Eagles fans. If Kenny Pickett's coming in there to save the day, I don't love it. And without Saquon, this team is not the same team.
There's a chance Big Dom falls on somebody too and injures someone that way. Like, what if Big Dom falls on
Kills a
AJ Brown?
fan.
Kills a fan.
Big Dom's one thing is to just like hit Jaden Daniels in the ribs, not do anything but just like wind him. He has to just miss like half the game with wind and some cracked ribs. Like, I just crazy. Alrighty. And a game that I kind of disagree with Kyle on. I'm very excited for this game.
I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited. It's just like
as much as the other one.
I'm looking forward to the Eagles Commanders more at this point.
I'm not like Kyle in this sense of Kyle has become a beloved Ravens guy. He's been a Ravens guy for a while. He is a beloved Ravens guy. Like in Baltimore fans, like he might over the last you love the Ravens, Kyle. And you talk about the Ravens heavily.
Let me clear that up. Let me clear that up first of all. Love the Ravens. Ravens are one of the top Ravens are one of the top teams in the league, so we talk about them a lot.
Absolutely.
They got an MVP candidate on their team, 2 MVP candidates I could argue on their team.
Absolutely.
And those 2 players, and I mentioned this to Tim on Monday, 2 of my favorite players in the league, Lamar and Derrick Henry. Love them.
Beloved Ravens guy. I wasn't trying to make it sound like you're not a Patriots fan anymore. Just you're beloved.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Ravens.
say beloved. Beloved's crazy. I have much respect. I have respect for the Ravens franchise, and some of my favorite players happen to have played for the Ravens. I will say that, but
you've always been a Ray Lewis guy. I mean, I love Jamal Lewis. Like, I like the Ravens, but like, I'm a Bengals guy. I do really. I mean, a Patriots through and through doesn't matter. But the Patriots, when they suck, I can't say anything about them. I want the Bengals to win. I want Joe Burrow to do well openly. Like that's fine.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Want him to do well.
I want Lamar to do well, but specifically this year specifically, I like when I picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. More than any year, I wholeheartedly believed it. I was like, it makes sense with the whole comeback to the Chiefs thing. Like, if the Chiefs were to make the AFC Championship game, reminded me of like the Spurs Heat type of thing. Mm-hmm. So I just had a lot of confidence in this team in general, in this roster in general. I like how it was constructed, how they were coming back. But I mean, I can't say.
I'm not arguing. I'm like, that's not a problem.
I can't. I'm just saying I can't say beloved Ravens guy. That felt a little strong.
Sorry.
Strong. It's Pat.
Staunch 2024, 2025 Ravens supporter. My bad.
If you want to call it that, I was just keeping. I'm always keeping it a buck. Like that was, to me, them and the Lions were the 2 best teams I saw this year. So, and I'm upset that we're not getting that. But I really thought we were going to get Ravens Commanders on the other side of that.
I've been excited for this matchup, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. I've been excited for this specific matchup for a long period of time. I mean, Mahomes, like all the quarterbacks are great ones, but Allen, Mahomes, because at some point I feel like Allen's just got to slay the dragon, and this just feels like the year that he's slaying the dragon. I'll give my score in a moment. John, I'll let you start, then we'll go to Timmy, then Kyle, then I'll end it.
I agree with you. I think this is the year. I remember last year I won my bet solely because they missed that field goal. So it was a pretty cool feeling, but also this is the rematch that I've been waiting for personally. I'm a big Josh Allen guy. I love that dude. Just so humble, so kind.
Was he Tim McGraw? Always stay
Humble
humble
and
and
kind. What a
kind.
football plays.
I mean, he did grow up a farmer.
He did grow up in Wyoming. He did go to Wyoming.
Crazy, dude. It's like, I forget what they made on the farm, but they grew stuff on the farm.
I think it was peyote.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so tough to say that they're going to beat the Chiefs. Like, just saying that sounds kind of hurts to say that. Doesn't hurt to say it, but it's like, I don't know. It's hard to believe that they will beat the Chiefs. I don't know.
You got to see it to believe it, but you want it to happen.
What's the spread?
Spread's 1.5. Chiefs are favored.
See, that's tough. I want to say that I would probably take the Bills on a teaser.
Oh,
to be
yeah.
honest with you,
Tease them up 6-point teaser, get them up to 7.5, so it's a touchdown game. Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to be doing a 6-point teaser with both of these teams playing games, but
I just can't say that the Bills are going to beat them, especially in Arrowhead Stadium. I feel like it's going to be tough.
he's going Kansas City. What's the score then?
It's going to go with a 0-0 tie.
No, I want to.
He's going back and
It's
forth.
a 0-0 tie.
I can't blame him.
Neither team wins. No, dude, I want to believe the Bills win this year, 24-21.
Ooh, okay, I like it.
Although, I don't know, but that's me more believing than anything.
You know, fair enough. Timmy, what about you?
Wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking.
Fair enough.
You got to believe. That's all I got to say. I'm taking the Bills. I made a bold call. I'm not sticking to it. It didn't help me in the Ravens game, so I'm taking the Bills here, and I think they're going to dominate. So give it to me 30-17 Bills.
Let's go.
And I want it to be bad. I want it to be 30-10 at one point, and they just get like a garbage time touchdown and then game over.
I want Travis Kelce out of the game early on.
Maybe he's the injury that I predicted.
Can you believe that? Can you imagine?
Taylor runs on the field. No!
Used to be a big fan, but I don't know if I like him as much.
Travis, you'll be okay.
She dives from the press box onto the field. They had Caitlin Clark in the cut.
I was about to say her and Caitlin. I was thinking about it. 3 years ago, Caitlin Clark was just playing basketball at Iowa, and now she's sitting she's box office with Taylor.
Like, okay, I'll say this, man. Keenan said Kyle's a big Ravens supporter. Y'all are lucky. Y'all are lucky because I was not able to get a hold of a Bills jersey. I was gonna be rocking possibly an O.J. Simpson Bills jersey today on the pod. I just was unable to corral a Bills jersey. Not saying it would have been O.J., but had it been available, maybe that would have been the one I went with. But I was unable to corral a Bills jersey, unfortunately. Needless to say, if I was going to wear a Bills jersey, obviously I'm rolling with the Buffalo Bills. So it's hard to have a feel for this game because I could see it both ways. I could see it the way Jadams is picking it. That will be the popular way to pick it, which is a close game, field goal type of game. But I could also see where the Chiefs just finally have that game because the Chiefs can only win close. They're bound to have a game where they just get ran over, right? And the Bills can do that. The Chiefs are a super tough defense. They got an all-time great coordinator. They're fundamentally sound. They're tough. But they're not as strong as last year's postseason defense, probably. And they haven't been strong the last 6 weeks, winding down the season. It's got to be the Bills. It's got to be the Bills. And, that's why I was so upset is because I really didn't think the Chiefs would have the firepower at all if Lamar played a good game to compete with the Ravens. Like, I really think it could have been a 30-17 thing. Whereas the Bills, with their receiving core being iffy, I could see it being a closer game. I feel like the Chiefs do have, the Chiefs voodoo would work a little bit more on the Bills. So that's where I'm scared of this fucking game. I'm gonna roll the same exact score as Adams though, 24-21. That's how I see it.
I think it does come down to a field goal. I think that's just like destiny. You know what I mean? It's
one or the other. It really feels like it's going to be a field goal or Josh Allen's going to go MVP Josh Allen on him, and it's going to be, a 2-score game.
At some point, right? I mean, at some point when you have this kind of rivalry, everyone gets beat. Manning finally beat Brady. Roethlisberger never beat Brady, but I mean, is Josh Allen Big Ben? Like, I mean, it's just it gets to a point. I mean, I had this before the playoffs, so I'm sticking exactly with my playoff prediction. I had this game exactly as is, and 29-26 Buffalo. That's what I've had for a while, and I think that Buffalo is going to come in here and they're not scared. They're not worried. There's nothing about this team that's concerned. They have the offensive line to match the Chiefs. They have one of the best offensive lines in football this season. They've played well. They have a rushing attack. They have multiple ways to win. They can get you're going to have Trent McDuffie on Khalil Shakir. That'll actually be a fun matchup because Shakir is so quick in a box. But, I mean, you need one guy to show up. I need an Amari Cooper game. I need an Amari Cooper. Like, it needs to be
Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman, they need Amari or Keon Coleman. One of the two need to show up. They need to get the Gabe Davis effect because Gabe Davis, for some reason, woke up against the Chiefs.
True that.
So they need to get that Gabe Davis effect. But they have multiple ways to win this game. And the thing with the Chiefs is like this is like a head pick. Like I'm thinking like I actually think the Bills can win schematically. I think they have like the team that they can actually match up with the Kansas City Chiefs. I also nope. I'm not gonna get to this. He's a GOAT talk. Can't do it. I'm gonna shut it down. I don't care. And he can't do anything Tom Brady hasn't done. Don't care. Can't have an undefeated season. Can't three-peat. Not allowed. So the Buffalo, I'm going to be rooting for Buffalo like they are my hometown team. I cannot wait for this game, and I need them to lose. I'm not going to lie, I would love. Josh goes down, puts them up 4. So Mahomes needs a touchdown. He just throws a pick. It would make my heart smile to see Mahomes choke in the last. Not really choke because he's not a choke artist, but just not make the plays that he needs to. It wouldn't be a choke because, like, obviously we've seen him make play after play late game. But
what if we get Eagles Chiefs in the Super Bowl and it's like one of the
Nope.
and if it's one of the games that I jokingly pick when it's two shit teams and we get like an 8-5 type of fucking game. Like a 10-7.
I can't even have Mahomes there. I don't want to hear I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I don't want Mahomes in the game. I'm sorry. He can go.
That sounds racist.
No.
That sounds like dark skin versus light skin. Yeah.
I want Jaden in the game. How does that matter?
I don't want that Mahomes guy in the game. It's putting too much color on my screen.
I want the darkest of all the quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. It's fine. Anyways,
You know what I thought of when you said that Mahomes throwing a pick would make your heart smile. Was the scene from Semi-Pro where they throw the alley-oop dunk and they pause the game because they don't know what's going on. They'd probably like try to throw like an illegal interception or something. Like the Chiefs can't lose. What the fuck?
Right? Refs just throw a flag.
The Chiefs can't lose on this. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I would be so upset if that was to happen.
Jadam, since we're talking about mid to late 2000s comedies, ever since you reminded me that I'd seen like Dewey Cox, right? Walk Hard. Ever since then I started watching clips of that. Like, so now every time I see the word cocaine or like if for some reason cocaine's brought up, now I can only think of it like in his voice where it's like cocaine, where there's no
I think I want me some of that cocaine.
Cocaine.
Dude, that movie is underrated.
That's very underrated. I gotta watch it back. Because that movie is the right kind of ridiculously stupid. It's my favorite type of movie right there. So
I appreciated a lot more stuff like the older I got. Like,
for sure.
I ended up really enjoying The Office when I was a teenager. I couldn't watch it.
I still have only seen, I think, one episode of The Office total. True story.
Well, damn.
This was good. Is there anything else, guys? Any other questions, comments, concerns? Or
look, me and Tim made two bowl predictions for the weekend, right? One for each game.
Yes, sir.
If you got them, Keenan, we would love to hear 2 bold predictions from you. And Adams, if you got 2 bold predictions.
I mean, I'm gonna give one, and my one's gonna be Mahomes is gonna throw a pick to end the game. That is gonna be one of my bold predictions. Like that's gonna stamp it there, and Jaden Daniels is gonna have the longest run of the game.
Put a stamp on it. Say 99 yards. Or give us 90.
No, I'm not crazy.
Give us 95.
Jaden Daniels gonna have the longest run of the game, and it's gonna be over 50 yards.
Good enough. That's good enough.
I'm not going 99 yards. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. I wanted to
A
actually
99-yard QB sneak.
Also, I just want to say my bold prediction of Josh Allen rushing touchdowns more than passing touchdowns. He's 2-2 right now. I'm just saying it could happen.
Well, I had one in the pre-post or like our postseason intro pod. I think it was what Mahomes. I could tell you. Adams, you go ahead. I'm going to look at my preseason pod because I think
any bold predictions on
you
this
had
game?
the Mahomes 4 pick.
4 picks? Was it 4?
Weekend.
Okay, so
Yep.
we're in
He
business.
said not 1, not 2, not 3, 4.
Not 4, not 5,
not 6,
not 6, not 7. I'm going to leave after 4 years. What a bum.
Okay.
I'm not as analytical as you guys for bold predictions. I've been trying to think of a bold prediction.
Oh, there's no analytical there. I said
Hey,
someone's gonna like get injured this weekend. I was an asshole about it. Actually, Adams, one of my preseason predictions for bold predictions was that Tyreek Hill was gonna gain 2 baby mamas. That was one of my preseason predictions. I was looking at him the other day. I think I got one right, and then I was close with Derrick Henry. I was 1 yard off of a Derrick Henry 200-yard game.
Yeah. And Gibbs wanted to try to make mine come true. I had Gibbs 200 yards on 10 touches. He was trying to do his hardest. He was trying his hardest to do it. But yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess I really haven't thought about bold predictions.
If he doesn't have one, Kyle, he doesn't have one. It's
true.
Okay.
If you don't got it, you don't got it. You know.
If you don't. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. That's okay.
Maybe somebody goes streaking in one of the games.
Oh, okay,
love
it.
That is one. Which
love
game?
It.
Which game? Give it to us.
Put
or
stamp on it.
Maybe there's like an animal that runs on the field or something.
What kind
so
of
we got
animal,
an animal in KC and streaking in Philly? That would make sense.
A fucking wild cheetah. A wild cheetah comes out in KC.
I like it.
All right, so we got an animal going crazy in Kansas City, and then we've got someone streaking in Philly. Back-to-back games. If that happens, we might have to call him Jadams.
Don't worry, guys. Big Dom will chase him down and catch him.
Yep.
We'll be good.
Big Dom will fucking corral just a cheetah, whatever the hell the wild animal is. He'll corral it with a bare hand.
Big Dom's going to do a swim move, too, to show he can still play D-end.
I got to find out more about Big Dom's background because he gets way too much camera time.
You know, he really does. He really gets way too much camera time. I'm excited. I'm truly excited to talk about the offseason here soon. We're going to go on and we're going to have so much. Like, I already have so many thoughts about what the Patriots are doing. Like, I'm getting excited about this team. I'm getting excited about just Vrabel there. It's just Vrabel's there. We've got an adult in the room. I can't wait. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna be annoying too on this podcast. I hope if the Patriots are even a semblance of good. And Jaden Daniels is also making me feel like, hey, we just needed a coach, get some players around people, young QB. Absolutely. But if anyone else has anything else,
I got 2 things.
Oh, Timmy's got 2 things. I love 2 things.
One thing, quick.
One thing. Yep.
The Washington Commanders are exactly what the Chicago Bears were supposed to be this year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're supposed to have the quarterback to turn them around. They're supposed to make that playoff push. I saw so many Bears fans say, yep, this is our year. We're going to the Super Bowl. That's crazy. But that's exactly who they are. And 2, what do you guys think about Josh McDaniels being officially hired as the OC in New England?
I'm not mad at it.
Thoughts?
I'm not mad at it. And I kind of alluded to this the last time the 3 of us potted, that it looked like he was the likely lead candidate. I'm not mad at it. He's clearly never getting a head coaching job ever again. And he excels at being an offensive coordinator, which is why I'm so like, whenever people are like, no, Ben Johnson's got to be the hottest candidate on the market, I'm like, how can you really say that when we've never seen this guy be a leader of a team? I'm always extremely weary of, and I know I'm branching off here to another topic, but extremely weary of specifically offensive coordinators, for whatever reason, more than defensive coordinators when it comes to head coaches. I'd rather see a DC get a head coaching job rather than an OC. Seems like if it goes bad, it goes all the way bad when it's an OC. But to bring it back to Josh McDaniels, if Drake May really is that guy, if he can, grab a hold of true NFL concepts, which so far it looks like he can, and he can really, progress as a player, seems like it could be a match made in heaven because, if he can at least grasp that part, Josh McDaniels is an elite play caller. And you combine that with how Vrabel can run a team, lead a team, prepare his team. We should be looking at least 7 wins next year. Give me that, and then we can talk when it comes to this. But if Drake May's that guy, it should be an okay hire, truly.
I think that. Sorry, John, you go.
Oh no, I was just
No.
You go.
I wasn't sure if you had anything. I'm happy about it. There wasn't. I don't really know if there's any like young hot shots that you could just go get from like Cambridge or somewhere. I just know like analytics or something. But no, I'm fine with it. I liked Josh McDaniels. I think has had time to learn from his past mistakes. He's had success. Clearly, he was on part of 5 Super Bowls. 6? Was he there for 4?
Like 3.
Wait. 3. There, he was there for 3. He was there for the back half of the 3. So he was there for 3 Super Bowls. So he understands like how to win, what a winning culture is. He understands New England and what New England's about, and like how the fan base and everything is that there. But he's also not only just like a Belichick product, where like he only thinks about Belichick and the only way he goes about business is Belichick, which is what I kind of wanted. I wanted people who understood what it meant to be a Patriot, like kind of what they've established over the last 25 years, but at the same time still have their own individuality. And I feel like Josh McDaniels is going to be able to have that, especially along with Mike Vrabel, another guy who has been there, done that. They have a relationship, and I like what Mike Vrabel's doing, bringing in some guys. As I mentioned earlier, the defensive line coach from Detroit, I believe, is going to be now our DC. So it's going to be a good situation here in New England, and now we just need to nail the draft and get a couple free agent pieces. And we'll talk more draft when the draft is coming up, but every day I wake up, I'm leaning more towards taking a tackle and being that boring team, but taking the tackle and basically saying, hey, we actually care about your life, Drake May.
Chargers, that's what they did. Number 5 overall, they take a tackle.
I'm saying, right, I mean, Kelvin Banks from Texas, left tackle, surefire pro. Just get him. Try to go get a wide receiver. You can even go trade for a wide receiver. We got cap space to throw at people. Go get a back, and there's backs in this draft. We can get a back late that I'd love to get another running back to get a dynamic guy back there to go along. Get Ramondre to come in stints, but get a dynamic running back. There's plenty of them in this draft.
Get Ramondre to hold on to the ball, most importantly.
I mean, if you know your job's not secure, because Vrabel will sit you. Yeah, I think, and there's a guy there that can actually run. Yeah, absolutely. You'll hold on to the ball. If he doesn't, you can just sit behind the guy that they get. Wouldn't mind Dylan Sampson from Tennessee, even though he's kind of had a little bit of a fumbling problem this year. We've got multiple players that they can go get. So,
Keenan, when are you going to that UConn game?
Oh, the 6th of February.
So it's like
Thursday.
week after next.
Couple weeks ago.
Week after next. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get to go there, and then I come back, and then it's Super Bowl Sunday pretty much. So.
And then, Jams, you got a Bruins game next Saturday, right?
The 1st. Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. I've already been looking into tickets. I'm already looking and going to Indiana to see the Fever play the Wings here, and thinking probably like August. Those tickets are cheap, and I get to see Paige versus Caitlin, so I'm very excited.
I have a lot of WNBA thoughts. I've almost sent you quite a few things when it comes to
Unrivaled start. That's actually been fun so far.
I did not realize, Keenan, that was full court. I did not realize that changes.
It's 70 feet.
Still. So I didn't realize it was end-to-end action. I thought it was half court, 3-on-3. That's super dope. That's creative. I can't wait to actually watch. I didn't get to see it last Friday. Is it Thursday or Friday it's on? I think it's Friday, right?
It was Friday. There was Friday, Saturday. There's Monday. Like, there's multiple days. Like it was on Monday. There's like there's multiple days throughout the week that it's on. It's not just like a singular, like Saturday, Sunday kind of thing. So, you should like randomly throughout the week you'll be able to turn on some games. Like there's a lot of talent. The WNBA offseason is going to be fun. Where you got a lot of people going to be on the moves. You got so much talent, so much star power in the draft. I can't wait. And March Madness is coming up too. Oh my god,
It's true.
Best sports time of the year. You go from the national championship game into the NFL playoffs, deep into the NFL playoffs, and you go to All-Star Weekend, March Madness, NBA playoffs. It is heaven to be a sports fan.
Jadams, do you got an extremely early Masters pick for us? I know you're a golf guy. Extremely early. Could be like 3 months in advance early right here.
I don't know, man. I'd probably, just off the cusp, I'd probably just have to say Scotty Scheffler. I think he just continues to dominate. I know he hurt his hand or whatever during Thanksgiving or whatever, but man, he's crazy.
Yeah, no,
Interesting.
He's been from every. I don't watch, but like from everything I've ever seen, this guy's insane.
Yeah, it'll probably be like, I don't know, dude, some random ass. I don't know. Some
guy you've never
some
heard
rookie
about.
Or something.
Birdie Kim.
Just don't hear about.
Be Birdie Kim from back then. It's a name drop.
Yeah.
It is.
VJ Singh.
Right.
And Tiger's kid's like a prospect.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
Tiger's kid's like a prospect. Like he's like everything Tiger was.
He's legit.
So that'll be interesting. He could be like the second coming. He could be like a Archie and Peyton Manning, or in this case, maybe like a Peyton Eli kind of thing. When it comes to what's his son's name anyway? Is it Tiger Woods Jr.? Charlie, same thing.
Yeah,
same thing. We're all gonna call him Tiger's kids anyway. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's dope.
All right, alrighty. Well, Jadams, it's been a while. We appreciate you being here and coming on. Of course, Timmy, we appreciate you. Let's hope that there hasn't been too much continued discourse. And when we talk about the rules a little bit more, probably will be more discourse there. I'm excited for it. What was that, Kyle?
I said no death threats, hopefully.
Oh, hopefully. No, there hasn't been any death threats yet.
Actually, that's when we'll know we have made it, when we do get a death threat. So hopefully
it's more so just who gave this guy, this is an example of everyone. Not everyone should have podcast equipment. It's cool. That was really clever. But anyways, Warner Brothers Podcast on Instagram, view it on YouTube, stream it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. See us on TikTok, of course, where we were talking about things kind of getting a little. We're gonna have to get Timmy some security. People are not upset, are a little upset with his rules.
Get a hold of Big Dom.
We may have to get a hold of Big Dom to save Timmy's life. But Warner Brothers Podcast, we appreciate all of you guys. We'll be seeing you guys very soon.